Hello everybody, my name is Connor, and I am here with another Purple Luffy game. We are playing against Issho, which I am excited. I really feel like some of these older leaders are getting some good support, and I feel like this is a good showing for Issho. Unfortunately, this is our last tournament with Purple Luffy, and boy was it a rough one. So we go first. Our opponent plays out the Rosinante blocker, and we get to 3 Dawn. I've got page 1 ulti in my hand. I go ahead, I ramp. I get to the 4 Dawn, I tap 4, and I play out page 1 and ulti. I figure this is a good time to get bodies on board so I can start swinging. So I'm pretty happy with that play. I go 5 here. I figure he's either got to give me the Rosinante blocker, take a life, or give me a card, and he gives me Sabo. So I'm feeling pretty good at this point. He is at 4 Dawn, and I'm thinking next turn we drop Magellan, and just kind of throw him off. And my opponent goes ahead and he swings 5, and as you can see, I have basically no counter in my hand, and I 2k out, and now we're really sitting with no counter, and he drops Kuzan. This Kuzan proved to be such a problem, and we get another Magellan, so we are really living our best life here with the Purple Luffy deck. So we go ahead and grab our 2 Dawn, and I think that puts us at 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, that makes sense. We are at 5 Dawn, so we can drop Magellan, and I'm trying to decide, is it worth dropping Magellan? There's not much else I can really do. I go ahead and I swing 5. I figure that one of either page 1 or ulti is going to get taken out by Kuzan and, whatever effect he may do. So I say, okay, I'm just going to swing with him. I swing 5. My opponent did, unfortunately, leave his wallet someplace. So he is on his phone a lot during this game, which is understandable. So I'm letting him know. I swing 5 with ulti, and he goes ahead and takes the life. And then I swing 6 with page 1, and he gives me the Tashiki, I believe. No, Suru, excuse me. He blocks with Rosinante. I drop 5, and I play out Magellan. Definitely Magellan is... I feel like Magellan was really helpful in this match because it was very obvious my opponent did not want to kill Magellan for a majority of the match. Unfortunately, though, we don't have a lot in our hand. So I'm assuming that Kuzan is going to take care of either Magellan or page 1 on ulti. And unfortunately, there's nothing I can really do about it. I'm hoping to get something out of, life or my deck. I'm hoping to live to the Kaido turn. But I am feeling pretty confident at this point. Like, my board is pretty impressive. He did have to minus a Dawn, so we're feeling all right. Yeah, and I feel like in the same way that my opponent here is playing Issho, I want so badly to play Garp. I am not the greatest deck builder though, but I really want to make Garp work, and I feel like he's so close to being able to work in the same way that Issho is so close to being able to work. So my opponent goes ahead and swings 6 at ulti, and I'm trying to decide if she's worth saving. I let her go. Realistically, I don't know if saving her would have made a difference, because he does have Kuzan to minus, page 1 basically, and probably pop page 1. But so I'm reading Poly, trying to make sure I understand his effect, because it confuses me. Like, I get to ramp a Dawn, and then if I'm at 8, so he swings 5 into life, and swings 5 at life, minusing page 1. And I'm trying to decide if it's worth countering out. I say, you know what, I will take, and I end up getting Kid, which is great. Not because I want to use him as a... just because I'm minusing so much Dawn. Excuse me. So my opponent goes ahead and plays out Rebecca, and then with Rebecca plays out Brooke, and we have more Poly. So I'm trying to figure out what is the best play here. I'm feeling like I need to get rid of that Kuzan, but with the Rebecca up, it's really hard to get rid of Kuzan. So I don't know if maybe I should have just gone for life and let him kind of Kuzan whatever. But I go ahead and I swing 6 into Kuzan, hoping he'll let him go, or at least use Rebecca blocker. Just to, you know, because my hand is pretty bricked here, if you ask me. And he plays Tashigi, gets out of it. So I'm counting my Dawn, making sure. I go ahead and I swing 6 into Kuzan again, and he uses Rebecca, so that's great. I'm trying to decide, do I want to drop Kid, or do I want to play out another Magellan? Realistically, I feel like maybe I should have played out another Magellan. But I do end up dropping Kid here. I think... I don't know. I don't know if playing out another Magellan would have been a better play here. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. Because if I'm understanding correctly, I can't poly and get the effect because I'm not at 8. I could have... So, I understood Poly's ability in, like, the last game of this tournament. Like kind of. So if I can get to 7 Dawn, Poly will ramp me to 8. I thought I had to be at 8 when I played Poly, so maybe I could have polyed this turn. Taken a life, ramped, polyed, KO'd Kuzan. Maybe that might have been a better play. I'm very interested to know what you guys think and how you guys would have played this game if you were in my shoes, because I feel like the problem I'm having with Purple Luffy is when I don't see what I need, it hurts. And I feel like it's pretty apparent in this match, in these matches here, that will be our last 2 Purple Luffy matches that we will be going over. But yeah, so my opponent is taking some time trying to figure out what he wants to do. And I'm not feeling good about my hand. 2 polys. I mean, my hand looks beautiful because of the alt arts I have, but I'm not feeling great about my hand. So he swings Kuzan into life, minusing Kid. And I don't have a counter. I have my 3k counter. But that's it. So I'm trying to decide, do I block? Do I let it go? I take the life here. I think I should have realistically blocked with Kid. Because with Kuzan, I know he's trying to KO Kid. So he minuses, he KOs Kid there, and I'm thinking, yeah, I should have blocked. And if I played, so I end up having to use a 3k counter to get out of the Brook hit, which is just awful. And I'm thinking that, yeah, I definitely should have played Magellan, forced him to get rid of Magellan and -2 Dawn. On himself. I think that would have been a better play than the Kid, and using the Kid as a counter. Definitely feeling like that would have been a better play at this point. But or at least blocking the Kuzan swing with the Kid. I have a very bad habit of using blockers poorly, and it's something that I, believe it or not, I've actually improved on since I started the channel. But he swings 6, and I take it. I get a banished Zoro, and at that point, I'm like, great, you know, it's a Zoro, like. And then he plays out Rebecca into brand new, and I'm not feeling good. I think you can tell by like my body language that I'm just not having a good time. You know, the fact that my opponent is swinging 5s and 6, and I have nothing to, you know, counter out of is really frustrating. Especially because I know this deck runs a stupid amount of 2Ks. In fact, after this game, we started playing another game where he was playing his BB deck, and my opening hand had 5 2Ks in it. So the fact that I have seen such little counter this game is it's just frustrating. That's not how, like, that's not, when I'm playing the game, that's not fun. I don't want to not have, you know, just be completely bricked, you know? I feel like that's kind of a general thing. So he goes ahead and he restands his Brook, and we get another Kid, and I'm like, okay, Now what? So we got 2k counter in hand, and I'm counting my Dawn, trying to see if I can poly. And I think kind of misunderstanding poly definitely hurt. And not understanding that he ramped me a Dawn, and then if I was at 8 Dawn, because I feel like I definitely could have gotten rid of Kuzan earlier. So I swing 6 into Kuzan, and he counters out, and it's just this, he won't let this Kuzan go, and this Kuzan is such an issue for me. So I'm trying to figure out what is best to do at this point, and I think at this point in the game, I feel like I've already kind of checked out. I already feel like I'm taking the L. I go ahead and I poly, and here I think is where it clicks. I tap 2, and then wow, that's my head. And I'm reading poly carefully. I didn't realize my camera was that far back. And then I KO Kuzan, and I swing 7 into life, expecting him to block, and he does. And I pass turn, and at this point, I'm thinking that this is pretty much game. I don't have a lot in my hand. I don't have, like, I'm gonna try, but I think I have to get pretty lucky here. And maybe if I ramped or took some life earlier to ramp, but I would have been, closer to Kaido, and I would have been able to, or played Poly earlier, would have been able to play Kaido sooner, and maybe that would have helped. But at this point, I'm like, okay, I got rid of Kuzan, got rid of Rebecca. He swings 5, and I'm like, cool, I can counter out of it. There's 6. Feeling really good about that. And he plays another Kuzan, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that is, I hate that card. I hope that card never sees the light of day ever again. And then he Sabos, and this is, I think, a misplay on my part, because I was planning to drop Kuzan, or excuse me, to drop Kaido, but he Sabos, so I'm like, oh, well, I can't KO anything, I can't use Kaido's effect. Realistically, I after the tournament, I was talking to some guys about it, and I could have dropped Kaido, Dawn minus for the rush, and just swung 10k, which I think would have been a better choice. And then I get Poly, and I'm like, cool, I can't KO anything with Poly either because he dropped Sabo. Like, that's like the worst timing. So I'm trying to figure out what do I do at this point? Like, what's the best option? And I'm like, okay, if I can get through, like, maybe I have a chance. So I'm separating my Dawn. I'm feeling like, okay, I'm gonna drop my Magellan, make him minus Magellan, or make him minus a Dawn. I go ahead, I swing. I think I mess up my math a bit. I think because I changed halfway through. But I go ahead and swing 6 at life. And he's on his phone, so we'll skip until he is back in the game. Okay, so he is off his phone. He can see that I'm swinging 6 at his life, and he 2Ks out with the Perona. I was kind of hoping that he would tap Sabo. At this point, I didn't think he had a ton in his hand, but he had more counters than I did, so not like it's hard. If you can see, I think all I have is a kid and a zero cost event. So I'm trying to figure out what to do here. And I'm pretty, at this point in the game, I feel like I've definitely kind of checked out. I go ahead and I swing 7 into life, and he goes ahead and takes it, and I think I swing 7 here, because I have nothing to do, like, and I don't think this is the play. I feel like I've definitely checked out, my opponent's been on his phone for a majority of the match. It's a valid reason. He lost his wallet. He's trying to get his wallet back. I'm not mad about that, but I just feel like I've kind of, I've been getting smoked this whole game, and not having enough counter has kind of tilted me. So I go ahead and I tap 5, and I play out Magellan, and Dawn -1. I don't want to minus my cooldown, and I am just making sure that it is a Dawn -1, and I pass turn. I'm thinking there's a slim chance I can get out of this. Depending on what the last card I have in my life is, I could get out of this, and I could Kaido next turn. And potentially, if I can keep my board up, I can potentially come back. You know, with the 3 swings I have, or 4 swings plus Kaido. So he swings 6, and I go ahead and give him the 1K out. And then is Kuzan? I thought Kuzan was a 5K for some reason. Did I miscounter? Editor Connor will put a note in if I miscountered. I think that because yeah, he swung at Polly, and yeah, I go ahead and I counter out. Or maybe okay, so then he drops 10 costs Dofi, and at this point I'm like, okay, that's game. Like, you drop 10 cost Dofi, he blows up Magellan, and I'm fucked. That's game. I'm pretty upset. I always forget. I know I mention this every time I play a deck that has green. I always forget about 10 cost Dofi. I don't know why. It's never in every green deck is running 10 cost Dofi. And just because this is mostly like a Navy build, he's running 10 cost Dofi. Why wouldn't you? So he's reminding me my leader is tapped, and yeah, it's just something when I take the Dawn off my leader, I automatically untap it. So at this point, I'm like, okay, like I can't swing, I can't put any pressure. I'm pretty sure this is game. 10 cost Dofi. And the funny thing about this is a lot of the games that I played on Purple Luffy that I didn't get to, you know, showcase on the channel, it was a 10 cost Dofi win. So I'm not having a good time, and I feel like my Dawn, yeah, I feel like you can tell by the way I'm putting my Dawn on, and I just passed turn because I'm upset. There's no point in swinging. I have a, what is it, a Magellan in my hand, a Polly in my hand, something with no counter. So he swings 10, I go ahead and take it. I get the 2K. I get his double finger. He swings 5, I 2K out. He swings 6, and I lose. So don't worry, I did fist bump him at the end. I didn't see he was going for the fist bump when I went to reach up to go for my camera. But we talked a little bit after game, and yeah, I did mention that I was just, you know, after, you know, getting 10 cost Dofi'd left and right, like, I'm pretty sick of it. And it just kind of tilted me, especially because I just didn't see any counter like that entire game, which is something that you should see when you play purple Luffys. You should see counter. I mean, I run a stupid amount of them. So yeah, pretty rough game, but I did want to showcase a little bit of Issho. I will do my best to get the deck list from my opponent. I usually don't have opponents' deck lists because, you know, it's their deck list. I want them to, you know, I don't want to ask them for it. But if you guys want it, I will contact him and see if he'll let me have it. But the Purple Luffy deck list is below, so you can see how many 2Ks I'm running and how ridiculous that was. But yeah, so that's gonna do for me, guys. I didn't really want to post this video because I do get salty, but I think it's important to understand that, you know, it's a competition. People want to do well, and I was really enjoying Purple Luffy, and to have the deck kind of snub me like that really upset me. But what's important is I don't hold it against my opponent. Obviously not. He played his deck. His deck worked, mine didn't. And try and, you know, see my behavior, learn from my behavior, and grow. So that's that. Yeah, super frustrating, great game, but it's good to see Issho. I think his name's Issho. You know, getting a little play, getting a little bit of sauce. So that's gonna do it for me, guys. If you guys like this video, hit that like button down below. It helped me out more than you could ever know. Go ahead and subscribe if you are new, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a wonderful rest of your day.